Hello everyone and welcome to Tech Upskill channel. This is the fourth video in our n8n full course. If you're just joining us, make sure to check out the full playlist. It includes all the previous videos to help you catch up and get the most out of this series. In today's video, we're going to build our very first workflow inside n8n, step by step. Now, quick heads up, if you're already familiar with n8n, you've created some workflows or played around with the basics, this video might be a bit too introductory for you. I recommend jumping ahead to the next videos, where we dive into theory or tackle more advanced projects. But if you're just starting out with n8n, this is the perfect place to begin. This walkthrough is essential, and by the end, you'll have a solid foundation to build from. So stick around. Here's what we'll be building today. A simple customer service automation that handles support requests from course students. While it may seem basic at first glance, this workflow will give you a solid understanding of how n8n works and how different tools integrate within it. Automation follows 4 essential steps. First, it begins with a trigger. Whenever a form is submitted containing details like first name, last name, email, the issue they're facing, and the type of platform. Second, the submitted data is stored in Google Sheets for easy tracking and reference. Third, an automatic email is sent via Gmail to the student, confirming that we've received their request and will be in touch shortly. And finally, a second Gmail action sends an internal email notification to our support team, alerting them that a new ticket needs attention. As you'll see, this workflow is straightforward, but it touches on key automation concepts, such as setting up triggers, working with add-ons, and connecting multiple tools. So with that said, let's jump in and build it from scratch. First things first, let's begin by clicking on Add First Step. This will open a sidebar on the right side of the screen where you'll find all the available trigger options. For our workflow, we want to choose Form Submission as the trigger. This allows us to create a form that users can fill out to start the automation. Let's give the form a title. Something like Contact Us form. In the description field, we can write, "Please contact us when you have a problem," which helps users understand the purpose of the form. Next, we'll start adding form elements. When adding a new field, you'll be asked to enter a field name, choose an element type, and provide placeholder text. First, we'll add a first name field, set the type to text, and use the placeholder, your first name. Then we'll add a last name field, also of type text, with the placeholder, your last name. After that, we'll include an email field by selecting email as the element type and using enter your email as the placeholder. You should mark this field as required, just like the others. Now let's add a description field where users can describe the problem they're facing. Name it something like describe problem and use a placeholder like explain more about it. Finally, we'll include a what platform field using a drop-down list where users can choose from options like Windows, iOS, macOS, and others. And that's it. We've now built a complete form that collects all the necessary information: first name, last name, email, problem description, and platform type. This form will serve as the trigger for the rest of our automation. Once that's done, you'll notice a new option appears on the left side called Execute Step. Go ahead and click on it. This allows us to manually test the form by entering some sample data. Let's fill in a few details, starting with an email address. This test helps us confirm that the form is functioning properly and that the data is being captured correctly. After submitting, you'll see the output on the right-hand side of the screen, showing the captured data. On the left, you'll also have the option to activate the workflow. Go ahead and activate it so the automation can start working. Once that's done, copy the form link, then open it in a new tab or window to test it. If you try pasting the link and it doesn't work immediately, don't worry, we'll troubleshoot that shortly. First, make sure to click on Execute Step. This puts the workflow into listening mode, which means it's now ready to capture data from a form submission. This step is essential for testing the setup and making sure everything works as expected. Once it's listening, refresh the form page, fill it out with some sample data, and submit it. This lets n8n capture a real example of the data it will be working with. After submitting, you'll want to click Stop Listening. You'll now see the form data displayed on the right-hand side, including fields like name, last name, email, description, and course type. You can even switch between different data views like table, JSON, or schema, depending on what's most helpful. This confirms that your trigger is working correctly. With the form data now successfully captured, it's time to move on and connect Google Sheets so we can store the submitted information for future reference. Now it's time to connect Google Sheets so we can store the submitted form data. To do that, select the Append Row action for Google Sheets. This step is crucial because it allows us to send the incoming data into a spreadsheet. In n8n, each node has 3 areas. On the left, you'll see inputs coming from the previous step. On the right, you'll find outputs, what this step produces, and in the middle, you configure the settings for that node. The first thing you'll need to do is connect your Google Sheets account. You can either create a new set of credentials or use an existing one. Once your account is connected, you won't need to repeat this step for future automations. It will be saved for reuse. Next, you'll configure the resource. Select your Google Sheets document and choose the Append Row operation. But before that, you need to create the actual spreadsheet in Google Sheets. Open Google Sheets, sign in, and create a blank spreadsheet. Then, label your columns with headers such as first name, last name, email, describe problem, what platform. These headers are important because they help n8n map and insert the incoming data correctly into your spreadsheet. Once that setup is complete, n8n will be able to store every new form submission as a new row in your sheet. I'll show you exactly how to map the data in the next step. After that, return to n8n and select your new document from the drop-down list. In this case, choose Contact Form as the target sheet for the automation. With that done, we're now ready to link the form fields to the corresponding columns in the sheet. Next, let's select the specific sheet within our Google Sheets document. Once selected, you'll notice that n8n automatically detects all the column headers, such as name, last name, email, describe problem, what platform. If you make any changes, like adding a new column named More Info, it's important to click inside one of the cells in Google Sheets to ensure the change is saved. After that, when you return to n8n, you may see a warning icon indicating that the columns are outdated. Simply click the refresh icon to update and pull in the new column. Now you'll see more info available as well, which you can choose to use or leave blank. The workflow now allows you to map data from your form fields directly into the corresponding columns in Google Sheets. Essentially, you're telling n8n, take this form data and store it here, seamlessly linking your form submission with your spreadsheet. Now we need to map each field from the Google form to the appropriate column in Google Sheets. This is a simple drag and drop process. In the input section, you'll see the data that was captured by the form. For example, you can drag the name field and drop it into the corresponding name column. Once you do this, it creates a dynamic variable that updates with each new form submission. It's important to understand the difference between fixed and expression modes in n8n. A fixed value is static. What you type is exactly what will be inserted every time, like customer A. An expression, on the other hand, allows you to include variables. For instance, you could enter name of the client, JSON, name. In this case, the sentence remains constant, but the actual name will dynamically update based on the form submission, e.g., name of the client, Elias. You can go ahead and do the same for other fields. Once you've mapped everything, you can click the Execute Step button to make sure it's working. If successful, you'll see a live preview of the output on the right side of the screen, either as a schema or a table view. This confirms that your automation is correctly configured and ready to process real submissions. Now that our form data is successfully being saved into the contact form spreadsheet, we can move on to the next step, sending an automated confirmation email to the client using Gmail. To do this, we add Gmail as a new step in our workflow and choose the Send Message operation. In the To field, we drag and drop the client's email address from the previous step, ensuring that each submission sends an email to the correct person. For the subject line, we can simply write something like, "Thanks for your message." This setup allows us to automate personalized email responses, making sure that every time someone submits the form, they instantly receive a confirmation message. saving us time and improving the user experience. Next, we configure the content of the email. We can choose between plain text or HTML format, but for now, we'll keep it simple. In the message body, we start with a personalized greeting like "Hi name," where the name is inserted dynamically using a variable from the form submission. Then we add a confirmation message such as "Thanks for your message. We confirm that we get your problem and will answer you as soon as possible." You can expand the message editor window using the small icon in the corner to make it easier to write and review the email. Once everything is set up, test the steps. Next, we'll add another Gmail action to send an email to the support team that includes the reported problem and the platform the client is using. After selecting Gmail and choosing the Send Email operation, we fill in the support team's email address in the recipient field. We then write the subject line. Once everything is set up, we test the entire automation flow to ensure that each step works correctly. Now I will test the automation by clicking Execute Workflow. Then, I will fill out the form with the first name, last name, email, and a description of the problem. After submitting, the customer will receive a confirmation email. If we check the Google Sheet, we will see a new row added with all the details from the form. Also, if we check the support Gmail inbox, we will see the support email with the problem and platform information. This confirms that the entire automation works perfectly. Finally, if you want, you can rename the form and activate it to make it public. That's it for today's video. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing so you don't miss out on the next videos in this series. Also, check out the full playlist from right here to keep leveling up your automation skills. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.